everybody, and welcome back to Bunny Tales with Zeb. Today, my mummy has a fantastic tale for us, right, Mummy?
Yes, I do, Zeb.
Mummy, I have a question.
Yes, Zeb, what is it?
Do fairies really have tails?
What? No, I don't think so. I think you're thinking of another tale, Zeb.
Are you going to read the tale now, Mummy?
Oh, would you like that, Zeb?
Yes, I would.
Mother's Nursery Tales, told and illustrated by Catherine Pyle. Star Jewels. A little girl once lived all alone with her old grandmother upon the borders of a forest. They were so poor that they were scarcely able to buy food for their mouths or clothes to cover them. "Never mind, Granny," the little girl would say. "Someday I will be big enough to work, and then I will earn so much that I will be able to buy everything that we need and to give something to the other poor folk as well." One day, the child went off into the forest to gather sticks. These she hoped to sell for a few pennies in the town over beyond the hill. She was to be gone all day, so she took with her into the forest a bit of bread, which was all they had left to eat. It was winter, and the air was bitterly cold. The child wrapped her little shawl about her and ran on as fast as she could. She was hungry, but she intended to save her crust until after the sticks were gathered. Just as she reached the edge of the forest, she met a boy, even smaller than she herself, and he was bitterly crying. The little girl had a tender heart. She stopped and asked the child why he was weeping. "Weeping," he said, because I'm hungry." "Have you had nothing to eat today?" she asked. "Oh, I've had nothing, and I'm like to starve, for I know not where to go for food." The little girl sighed. "You are perhaps hungrier than I," she said, and she took the crust from her pocket and gave it to the boy. And then she again hurried on. A little farther on, she met another child who was even more miserable looking than the first, for this child seemed almost frozen with cold. Her clothing hung about her in rags, and her skin looked blue through the rents. Cried she, "if I had but a warm little dress like yours. Help me, I pray of you, or I will certainly die of cold." The good little girl was filled with pity. It's not right," thought she, "that I should have both a dress and a shawl. I will give one of them to this poor child." She took off her dress and gave it to the child, and then wrapped the shawl closely about her shoulders. In spite of the shawl, she felt very cold. Still, she was near the place where the sticks were to be found, and as soon as she had gathered them, she would run home again. She hastened on, but when she reached the place where the sticks were, she saw an old woman already there, gathering up the fallen wood. The old woman was so bent and poor and miserable looking that the little girl's heart ached for her. "Oh," groaned the old woman, "how my poor bones do ache. If I had but a shawl to wrap about my shoulders, I would not suffer so." The child thought of her own grandmother and how she sometimes suffered, and she had pity on the old woman. "Here," said she, "take my shawl," and slipping it from her shoulders, she gave it to the old woman. And now she stood there in the forest with her arms and shoulders bare, and with nothing on her but her little shift. The sharp wind blew about her, but she was not cold. She had eaten nothing, but she was not hungry. She was fed and warmed by her own kindness. She gathered the sticks and started home again. It was growing dusk, and the stars shone through the bare branches of the trees. Suddenly an old man stood beside her. "Give me your sticks," said he, "for my hearth is cold, and I'm too old to gather wood for myself." The little girl sighed. If she gave him the sticks, she would have to stop to gather more. Still, she would not refuse him. "Take them," she said, "in heaven's name." No sooner had she said this than she saw it was not an old man who stood before her, but a shining angel. "You have fed the hungry," said the angel. "You have clothed the poor, and you have given help to those who asked it. You shall not go unrewarded. See?" At once a light shone around the child, and it seemed to her that all the stars of heaven were falling through the bare branches of the trees. But these stars were diamonds and rubies and other precious stones. They lay thick upon the ground. "Gather them together," said the angel, "for they are yours." Wondering, the child gathered them together, all that she could carry in the skirt of her little shift. When she looked about her again, the angel was gone, but the child hastened home with her treasure. It was enough to make her and her old grandmother rich. From then on, they lacked for nothing. They were not only able to have all they wished for, but to give to many who were poor. So they were not only rich, but beloved by all who knew them. The end.
That was a terrific tale, Mummy.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Is it time to meet some new bunnies, Mummy?
Why, yes, it is.
Can I go play now, Mummy?
I guess. Yes, I'll hop along, sweetie. I'll introduce the new bunnies. TTFN.
Ta-ta for now.
Well, Zeb's off playing right now, so it's my distinct pleasure to introduce you to this sweet bun named Tynsdale. Tynsdale's newly rescued. In fact, Jude just rescued him last Saturday evening. She says that he's one of the calmest bunnies that she's ever met, which is saying something because she knows a lot of bunnies. He also likes to sit in her lap and soak in as much love as he can get, and Jude has a lot of love to give. So if you'd like to make this tranquil bunny part of your forever family, please click the link below and contact Jude. TTFN, ta-ta for now.